Doyle Gilson will refuse to serve you a tomato in January. You may think the head chef of a successful restaurant would be crazy to deny a customer's request, but Garden at the Cellar in Cambridge serves only dishes that are seasonal and locally grown.
We also buy everything from predominantly local farms throughout Massachusetts, some into kind of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. Products in season are better than getting them from wherever they come in the world and having to ship. I mean, every single mile that vegetable or fruit or meat has to travel until it gets to your kitchen and before you get to do anything with it, it's losing quality.
Despite the comparatively short growing season across New England, Gilson says it's not all that difficult to fill a winter menu.
A menu that uses lots of things like roots and tubers, hydroponically and greenhouse grown greens, to kind of say, theoretically this is what you would be eating, in Massachusetts if there was no ability to get asparagus from Peru and tomatoes from Mexico.
Garden at the Cellar feeds into the growing lifestyle trend known as Localvorian. Just as vegetarians eat vegetables, Localvores focus on eating regionally grown foods. Christy Sekarosi and Derry Madden, founders of BostonLocalvores.org, host monthly potluck dinners to wine and dine with other Localvores. Their group defines Localvores as a person who tries to buy some of what they eat outside mainstream food production because they've recognized there are health, environmental, economic, and animal cruelty issues associated with most grocery store food.
But if you're faced with, like you're saying, cheese from Vermont or cheese from New Zealand, like, why would you get cheese from New Zealand? Or if you're faced with apples from New England and apples from Washington or China, it's an obvious choice.
To many, a tomato is a tomato and strawberries are strawberries. And regardless of the chemistry and the distance traveled, shoppers are going to choose the cheapest one. So why do activists think we all need to join the movement?
I think it's important for not only for our health, but also for the environment and the sustainability of the environment. Right now, a lot of people are getting food that can be shipped from China, a lot from California, and that is partly causing a lot of climate change because of all the transportation costs and the fossil fuels that are being emitted.
Even the farmers who are coming from Western Mass, it's still going to take them an hour and a half and all that fuel to get the stuff from Western Mass to here. Just doesn't have to travel 2,500 miles to get to, the grocery store. Yeah.
Restaurants that buy locally cut out the middleman and buy straight from the source. Barrel Farms in Concord sells most of their produce to restaurants in the Boston area.
We've got another guy that will do deliveries. We've got a truck. So we pack up everything in boxes. It can change week to week. The restaurants will change their menus, and so we can change how much of something we harvest if we know ahead of time. Yeah, we deliver three, 4 times a week in Boston and Cambridge direct to the restaurant, and that seems to work out really well.
Best-selling author Barbara Kingsolver is also a pioneer in the Localvore movement. She explains in her book Animal Vegetable Miracle about the large amount of hormones, steroids, inhumane treatment, and preservatives that go into the production and movement of large-scale agriculture.
It's not just looking at the food miles, it's looking at economic issues and health issues. It's like, we don't want to eat chickens who have lived in prisons and had their beaks seared off, or cows that have been pumped full of chemicals and hormones.
Local farms have seen an increase in popularity over the past couple years. With this has come the concept of community-supported agriculture, or CSAs. People buy CSA shares in the winter when farmers are most often short of needed cash ahead of the planting season. Then, as the fruits and vegetables grow throughout the summer, consumers receive a portion of the weekly harvest. Allendale Farm decided to start selling CSA shares this year.
Our full share for us is about a bushel of produce, and a bushel is approximately 40 pounds. Our vision is that the bushels are going to be crazy cornucopias of different kinds of things.
There are also those who prefer to grow their own. Even apartment dwellers can exercise their green thumb. For $35, Bostonians can grow their own fruits and vegetables in plots at the Fenway Victory Gardens. Victoria Stock of Alston harvests a variety of produce from her 450 square foot plot.
I have a very, very large strawberry patch, and I have a smaller strawberry patch over there. I get about 10 pounds of strawberries each year. I have peas coming up. I have last year's leeks that I will probably harvest in the next couple of weeks. And then over there in those 2 beds, I'll put tomatoes and peppers, and I had corn last year, but the squirrels ate it all.
And while college students may not have the time or the resources to grow their own food, Boston University has a student group called Slow Food BU. Slow as in the opposite of fast food. Slow Foods aims to reconnect students with their food.
We try to work with dining services to bring more local and sustainable food into the dining hall and on campus.
Slow Food BU successfully lobbied for the hiring of a sustainability coordinator for food services. The group hopes the new coordinator will help achieve their goals.
And I think one of the most positive changes that we're going to see this year is the implementation of a farmers market at BU. They're planning on actually having local vendors and local farmers who are going to be selling at the farmers market.
So is the Localvore movement just a trend that coincides with the Going Green movement? Is this all just a fad, or are we beginning to see a shift in gastronomical ideology?
This is what we do every day. This is why we do this, and it's important for us to do it. We're not doing it because it's trendy or it's new. But you know what? Even if it is trendy and everybody starts jumping on it, there's a lot worse things to be trends than trying to save the environment.
With all the food recalls in the past few years, knowing exactly where your food comes from may be beneficial to your long-term health. Oliver Cox, BUTV 10.